everybody, this is going to be a mobility program for lower body. So if you feel like you're tight anywhere from your hips to your toes, this should help you out a little bit. We're going to start out with a foam roller. This is a 12-inch one. You can have a 3-foot one, whatever you got. You got a foam roller. Start on the floor. I'm going to sit on this thing. I'm going to do my hamstrings. And this one's wide enough I can actually put both of my legs on it. And when I'm using a foam roller, I'm just sitting on it. All my weight's on my hands. And I'm kind of doing a little bit of section of my leg at a time. So I'm not rolling the full length of my leg at once. And get all the way down to my knees. Start out with that. For glutes, I'm actually going to turn it lengthwise and sit on it. And then I'm just going to rock back and forth. And kind of let that roller go right across my butt. This will feel nice. But it's good for you. We're going to switch. This is just to get a little motion between the layers of your muscle and your connective tissue. Kind of good as a warm-up to your warm-up. And then we'll finish up with a little bit of quads and hip flexor. I'm going to do this one leg at a time. Yes, this is awkward because you have to lay on the floor to do this. And you just gradually go a little section at a time till you get all the way down to the top of your kneecap. We're going to switch, work my way up the other leg. Again, just little sections until you get all the way from the top of your quad and your hip flexor down to your knee. Okay, so that's our foam roller. Now we're just going to do a few leg swings. You can do this if you have something to hold on to, wall, door, whatever. I'm going to use these. This is just some simple leg swings. Side to side, keep them moving. Just to get these hips going a little bit. Then we're going to move into a couple of good mornings. So this is a hip hinge, leg straight, down and back up. Just going to do 5 of these. You'll start to feel this lengthen your hamstrings a little bit, and that's the purpose. Okay? Now we're going to move into some standing, some straight leg hip turns. So the way this works, and I've kind of angled this so you can see, I'm going to stand parallel to this bench, but you can do it with a stool, a chair, steps, anything to kind of elevate a leg. So I'm going to put my other leg on it. My toes are both pointing forward. And for this move, to do a hip turn, I'm going to turn my hips and point my toes straight up. So this foot doesn't move. So now I'm pointing still parallel to the bench with my standing leg, and my toes are straight up here. And you can adjust this. You should feel this right up the inside of your thigh. So you're just turning your toes from up to forward. And you're keeping this leg straight the whole time. And sometimes when you're turning on your heel, your foot's going to want to walk off the bench. So you might have to adjust it so you don't end up in a really wide straddle. And so this, you know, when I turn, my hips are pointing forward again, right? Okay, so now we're gonna switch. Do the same thing for the other leg. So it'll be kind of a different angle for you here, but again, I start with both feet pointing in the same direction and parallel to the bench. Toes up, toes down. And again, you should feel this right on the inside of your thigh. We're just going to do this 20, 30 seconds each side. This whole program is just to get some mobility and gentle flexibility from hips to toes, okay? All right, now we're going to do what we call a kneeling runner's lunge. So you're going to kneel, and I've got this yoga mat here, so put something soft under your knee. There's no reason to kill yourself here. So I'm going to start out on one knee. So I have my right knee down. So for this, we're going to do a runner's lunge is just this. So I'm lunging forward. And for this, we're going to do straight forward with the knee that's up. And then I'm going to point that foot 45 degrees. And I'm going to go out. And then I'm going to take it around to point that foot at 90 degrees. And I'm going to go over. And I'm going to start to the top. So front, side, side. And this whole time, my hips stay pointed forward when I'm doing these lunges, no matter what direction I'm going in. We're going to do one more time. And then we're going to switch. Front, 45, 90 to the side. Front, 45, 90 to the side. Doing a lot of focus on hips here because a lot of times we do hit tight hamstrings, and those are going to be addressed shortly. But a lot of times, one of our restrictions come from our hips and our joints. So this helps with that. Last one. All right. All right, now we're going to do what I call some windshield wipers. So for this, you're going to be sitting. Have a comfortable seat. So you're going to start out with your legs wide, hands behind you. And for this, one leg at a time, we're just going to rock. We're going to roll our legs side to side. So toes up to start with. I'm going to start with my right leg. So I'm going to roll it in as far as I can go, and then out as far as I can go. Trying to keep that leg as straight as possible and not bending that knee and not lifting myself up off the mat either. I'm just getting as much motion out of that hip joint as I can do without adding any extra to it. So do 10 there. Switch over to the left side. In, out. Keep that toes up, and you're rolling across your heel when you do this. Now we're going to move our hands from behind us to in front of us. So that puts a little more compression on the hip joint. Same thing. You might notice you get less motion here, but that's the point. Just to work this hip joint at all angles. And then switch over to the left. And we're doing this one at a time so you can really concentrate on getting as much motion as you can and not bending that knee when you're rolling the leg. Okay, now we're gonna pull up into what you might have called back in the day a hurdler's stretch. So one leg in, and then concentrate on rolling the other. Then we're going to switch. You might not can hear it on the video, but I think I have mice on my roof, or birds or something. Weird noises. All right, last one. We're gonna put right leg out straight. You're gonna cross your left leg over the right and kind of hold it here. And we're gonna do the same rolls. This is gonna be the hardest one. You'll really feel this, especially when you roll in. You'll feel it back behind your hip and into your glutes. Then we're gonna switch. Just side to side, just easy motion. So this is all about your joints right now. We'll get to the muscles in a minute. Okay, good deal. Shake them out a little bit. Now we're gonna go to what we call 90-90 hip turns. So we'll kind of start out, this will be a progression. If you can't get the full 90-90 right away, that's not a problem. Not a lot of people can, okay? So you're gonna sit on the floor with your knees and your feet kind of a little bit more than shoulder width apart. And the first progression of this is just to let your knees drop side to side. So the bottoms of my feet come off the ground. So I'm kind of just rotating across my feet. So my feet come off the ground, but the sides of my feet stay on the ground, right? So I'm just rocking and I'm letting my knees drop side to side. Where you really feel this is on the inside of your hip, on the knee that's dropping to the middle, is where you're gonna feel this the most, right? Because this outside leg is gonna drop pretty easy. It's internal rotation of the hip going in where we're typically very tight. So we're just gonna do some knee drops side to side. And if this is where you have to stop, then that is perfectly okay. When you do this again, and the more you continue to do this and the more motion you get, we're gonna progress to what's called a 90-90 sit. So we're gonna do, and you have to adjust your feet a little bit to make this work. So my knee is at 90, a 90 degree at my hips, and another 90 degree at my knees, right? So we rotate from here to 90-90 in the other direction, okay? And for all you geometry folks out there, this may not be exactly perfect, but we want to get it close. And you can use your hands to help you roll, all right? And you might have to do that at first to kind of lean back to get this going. The progression from here, once you get comfortable with this 90-90 rotation, is to start going into 90-90 and sitting up completely. So I'm not using my hands. If anything, you can use a hand by your hip to keep yourself upright and really sitting into this 90-90, all right? So you'll feel this through your glutes that you're sitting on and through your hips. So you wanna be sitting up straight. So this is your third progression of this. And then you get to where you can do it with no hands. Engage your core a little bit as you're rotating. And you also notice this kind of walks you across the floor. So you have to adjust yourself every now and then. But this is just getting motion in those hip joints, all right? The last progression of this 90-90 rotation set is that when you get to a 90-90, get a good sit, and then lean over the forward leg and hold it for 10 seconds. Rotate to the other side, lean, hold. And we're done with that. Okay, shake it out. Next up is going to be what we call a supine dynamic hamstring stretch. So I'm going to turn sideways for this. And supine means you're laying on your back. All right, so we're gonna be laying on our back. I'm gonna start with my right leg for this one. I'm gonna reach up, put my hands behind my hamstrings and my thighs, and I'm gonna pull it towards me as far as I'm kind of comfortable. So to get this hamstring stretch, hamstring is here, okay? So I'm gonna start with pulling my toes towards me and straightening my leg as far as I can. And you notice like I'm not completely straight because I have my leg pulled towards me. This is tight, all right? So you'll get some shaking here when you're trying to get as straight as possible in this hamstring. So toes towards me, straighten the leg. Now to finish it, point your toes at the ceiling and pull your leg back down. All right, so that's the motion, and we're gonna do 5 of these on each leg in a row. All right, so toes up, straighten the leg, toes down, bend the leg. This is just to get some dynamic motion in this hamstring while trying to work it into a stretch. All right, now we're gonna swap and do the same thing with that other leg. All right, so we're gonna pull this leg towards us, toes up, straighten the leg, toes down, bend the leg. I'm a lot tighter on my left side today. Ooh, one more for good measure. All right. And that's what we call the supine dynamic hamstring. Next up is a down dog calf stretch. So we're using a little bit of yoga in this just to start getting some stretch into these muscles. So we're gonna do down dog is gonna be arms about shoulder width apart. Up on your feet and hands. Put my little microphone here so maybe you can hear me. So make sure you want to be in a position where your heels are on the floor. So you don't want to have your heels up, all right? So this is going to be heels on the floor as best you can. Arms and shoulders right up next to your ears. So they're going right past your ears. So for this is working on our calf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate. So I'm going to push my heel down, lift one leg up, really push that left heel down into the floor so I can feel it stretch through my calf. Keep your knee straight as possible on this. And then I'm gonna rock to the other side. So heel to the floor, knee straight, switch. Heel to the floor, knee straight. And I'm just gonna rock back and forth. Again, this is more of a moving stretch. This is a dynamic motion instead of just holding a static stretch all the time. So heel to the floor, knee straight. Heel to the floor, knee straight. A couple more on each side. And that's what we call the down dog calf. All right, next up, we're gonna do what's called, some people call it the Spiderman lunge. Some people call it the world's greatest stretch. Whatever you choose, I really like it. So we're gonna go with this. It is gonna be a lunge. And I'll start standing up. So you can lunge back, pick a leg. We're gonna do both. Get into a comfortable lunge. Next up, you wanna try and put your hands down on the ground next to your feet. So this takes a little bit of adjusting to get into position. And if you can't get here yet, that is fine. We will work our way towards it, okay? This is a more advanced movement, so don't panic if you're not there today. This is your goal, all right? So hands inside your feet. So this is gonna be my knees at 90 degrees, so my shin is perpendicular to the ground. My back leg, this knee is straight. A lot of people will let it sag. Back knee is straight because I'm meant to feel this in the hip flexor of that straight leg and in the glutes and the hamstrings of this bent leg, all right? So we hold it here. And then for a little extra bonus on this world's greatest stretch, you're gonna take the hand closest to this foot, and rotate it up to the ceiling. So this gets some thoracic motion in for your upper back. And we're gonna go back down. All right, so now we're gonna reset. Whew. So now right foot forward, left leg back and straight. And I hold this for a little bit, usually about 10 seconds for this one. And now I'm gonna get my rotation in. And back. All right, so that's your world's greatest stretch. All right, next up is gonna be a prone up dog. So prone means you're laying on your stomach. And for this, for up dog, you wanna have your hips on the ground still, and you're just gonna press your way up, right? So you can start out, first progression of this is being able to prop up on your elbows and leave your hips on the ground and pull your head up straight. So you'll feel this kind of stretching out, a little bit of hip flexors, but really up into your abs. And some good thoracic extension too in your upper back, right? So first progression is on your elbows. When you're comfortable here, you can take your hands, you can put them maybe a little bit wider, and press up on your hands. So be gentle when you do this because this is a lot of back extension. You can adjust where your hands are, so you can put hands further away from you, and that takes a little bit of pressure off the low back. But if you're not comfortable with this, but elbows are good for you, that's fine too. So this is just a 20, 30 second hold there for that prone up dog. Shake it loose. We're gonna move into a low lunge rocking movement. So we're gonna put ourselves in a lunge, so one knee down, one foot forward. I'm gonna put this foot kind of a little bit further out in front of me. I'm gonna put my hands down on the floor, kind of at my heel. So for this, I'm gonna lunge forward, and then I'm gonna rock back and try and straighten this leg out. So lunge, rock, lunge, rock. When you rock back, you really feel this through your upper calf and hamstring. And when you lunge forward, you feel it in the hip flexor of the leg that's down, okay? So on this last one, we do that for a few reps on each leg. On the last rep for this, put your hands a little bit further forward and then sit back into the lunge and try and count to 10. You really feel this in your hamstring, down where it goes into your knee and a little bit of your upper calf. All right, now we're gonna switch. So foot forward, hands down, lunge, rock, lunge, rock. And on this last one, put my hands a little bit further forward and really sit back into this lunge. Excuse me, ooh, sit back into the rock. You'll feel this in the hamstring for sure. All right. Okay, shake it out. Whew. Next, we're gonna move into a deep squat with thoracic rotation. Again, This will be your goal. If you can't start out with this immediately, no worries, okay? So first is we want to work on establishing our deep squat. So feet are going to be shoulder width apart, a little bit wider, and you want to be able to gradually sit down. All right, so this will be different for every person out there. But your goal is to be able to sit down into a deep squat. So if you can get here, this is your goal. If you can only get here and nothing else, that's fine, right? But being able to sit in this deep squat has good motion in our hips, good movement in our hamstrings, just being able to sit here and be comfortable, all right? So once you can get down into a deep squat, if you want to add something to it, you can do like hands in front of you, kind of help support yourself. If you're comfortable in a deep squat and you want to add something to it, we'll add some thoracic rotation. So hands on the floor, hand to the ceiling, switch, and to the ceiling. So you're just getting some more rotation in that thoracic spine and your upper back, just to get some movement going there. I'm going to do 5 of these on each side, just easy. And then slowly stand back up, shake it out. All right, last thing for our lower body mobility routine, we're just going to do hamstring stretch, but we're going to do a reverse hamstring stretch. So the way that works is that you're going to bend these knees, squat down. I'm going to take my fingers, put them up under my toes very gently. I am not going to smush my fingers. So fingers under toes, and then I'm going to straighten my legs and try to keep my fingers under my toes the whole time. All right, so sit down, stand up, down, back up. And try and go a little bit straighter in those legs each time. Feel a little bit more in those hamstrings every time you go up. And that is it. So I didn't time myself. You can probably go through this routine in about 20-25 minutes once you get the hang of it. But it's meant to flow from top to bottom pretty easy, just to work everything from your hips down to your feet, to get it moving, to get it loose, get it mobile and stretched out.